And then it tells me when we're on. So that is us. I think we are on. Hello, everybody. So this is Cognitive Sports Therapy, Time to Talk, and we have Emma Cuadrado. Is that how I pronounce it? In the house from Cambridge Barre Workout. Thank you so much for coming on, Emma. And Emma and I kind of linked up. When was that? Beginning of the year, and Emma asked me to kind of come into her kind of group and give a little talk on motivation. But I've been following Emma for a while because I love it.
Hello.
I'm keeping talking because my screen keeps going on and off as if it's maybe not working. But I think if we keep talking, it'll be fine. It's probably a signal thing, isn't it? But do you want to tell me a little bit, Emma, about, I kind of went on your website before this, so I know a little bit about your background, but how have you ended up where you've ended up with Cambridge Barre Workout? Tell me about your journey.
Where I started was, I have a dance background, so I trained at Northern School of Contemporary Dance. But unfortunately, I just did not have the confidence, the self-esteem to do anything with it. So I kind of bummed around. I went to London. I just bummed around. I went from job to job. My CV is extremely long, from having sales jobs, from having HR jobs, all sorts of different jobs. Then I fell pregnant with my daughter, and I had quite a traumatic birth with her. She was a month early. Her heart rate was dropping, so we had to have an emergency cesarean. It wasn't what you wanted from a first birth, it's daunting anyway, being pregnant. So I was extremely sad and extremely I'd say depressed from it. But because I'm a naturally sad and thoughtful person, I don't tend to talk too much about it because I find it difficult to express myself to people about it. It's very going on about it. Anyway, I then saw a poster or advertising our concept, and it was advertised with my dance teacher who I trained with when I was in Impington.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, that looks exactly right. If I'm not going to do something now, I'm just going to go down an awful path. I've done nothing with my life. That's how I felt, and now I need to get doing something. So I started doing the classes, and then I was like, yeah, let's do this. So I started doing the training, and then I started teaching, and that was 6 years ago.
Wow.
And yeah, so that's how I started. I have a background, but I didn't do anything with it when I had it. I've now subsequently done something with it since having my children. Yeah, it's really strange. Kind of, you need to throw yourself into the deep end to actually get something out of life, I'd say.
But that's a real example of how Barre for you has really helped your mental health then, more than anything. So we often kind of talk about these things being physical activities, but actually for you, I mean, this is what we do at Cognitive Sports Therapy, but for you, you're the walking example of how that's really kind of worked, haven't you?
Absolutely. And I would say that, not saying I'm a good instructor, but I would say if you, with instructors who have got a background in something that has pulled you through, and that's why you're doing what you're doing, there's much more depth to that person, and a much more depth to their kind of teaching, because absolutely, Barre has got me through so much, because it's so physically challenging and mentally challenging. It really pushes you in an area of, it's like dance training. It won't kill me. It will just make me so strong that I know I can do anything. And that is just what Barre picks for me. It is, that's what it does for me.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? That if something makes you feel that you can do anything on a physical level, then that filters into your kind of mental state and what you feel you can do in other areas of your life, doesn't it? As you say, it's back to that self-esteem um, issue, and you can kind of find a back way round into that through physical activity a little bit. It kind of can't help but give you positive feedback and make you feel good about yourself, which then, as you carry into other areas.
Absolutely, absolutely. And with with anyone hitting rock bottom, you know, sometimes you have to hit rock bottom to then find the strength to pick yourself up and do stuff. And finding exercise is helped me,
Yeah.
and hopefully it will help others. And that's what also drives me to teach bar. Physically it is challenging for me, and I challenge others. It's not just a case of turning up, doing an exercise class. I teach you the fundamental, how to stand correctly, how to walk correctly, how to it's not just about getting your heart rate up and sweating and then leaving an hour later. It is it's what's the word, I can't remember.
I don't know.
Functional training.
Functional training. Because I think, yeah, no, because I talk a lot about one of those kind of the evidence base for what helps our mental health. And one of those things being to do with it, finding the thing that you love. And it has to be that. And I sit in the world of triathlon. So I'm swim, bike, run, swim, bike, run. That's what I do. But I kind of, as I've got a little bit older, can I say, and trying to protect my body from getting injured, then I'm kind of getting more into the world of things like yoga and strength work and things like that. And I'm not someone who's done any bar, but I could see how it actually ticks that kind of box, because you must be getting into balance and strength and cardio, all from your bar, plus a little bit of fun when it comes to things like music, which I think is probably lacking with what I do. But
yeah, and that's it. And I think people have the pretense that they have to have dance training when they come in.
Yeah.
Or they have to be able to turn out, or they turn out their legs and work their muscles correctly. But that's my job, to teach you. I always say, I'm not teaching you to be ballet dancers. I'm not teaching you to be dancers. I'm teaching you to be stronger in every aspect of your life, mentally, physically. Through lockdown, a lot of us have struggled with our posture. And with bar targets every single muscle in the body. You don't leave the class just working the bicep or the quads or whatever it is. It's every part of the body, because we cover the resistance work, which is fabulous for when you do get older. We do cardio, but it's low impact, so we're not jumping up and down. We're moving faster, or or shifting from side to side and so on. And then we're stretching as well, which a lot of us forget how important stretching and keeping supple is.
I think that would be my worry. I'm incredibly inflexible. So what would you say to someone who, like, I don't think I can get my leg on the bar to start off with?
Oh, but there's none of that stuff. I wouldn't. And it's also, with bar and with yoga, with CrossFit, it depends on the instructor. It's not, I do exactly the same as someone else. In Cambridge, I'm unique in my teaching. I'm unique in what I want to do. It depends on who comes to my classes. I would never ever ask anybody to get their leg on the bar and then start stretching, because to me, that's not helping you in any other aspect of life. Sitting on the floor, laying down, getting your resistance band and pulling your leg, stretching that way, is far greater than thinking that we're ballet dancers, because that's not what I want to teach you.
Yeah.
So.
And am I misunderstanding? Because are you almost completely online now? You used to be in a studio? Are you online now? Are you going to go back to the studio? What's the kind of
Well,
Cambridge
I
Barre?
started off in studios. That's how I started my business. And obviously, due to COVID, it's all online now. From lockdown, I've branched out and I've got different aspects of my business now. So I've got I do online coaching, so I kind of do one-to-one coaching where I coach you with exercise, but also a bit of life coaching. Everyone is individual, so dealing with, it might be stress levels, it might be habit building, it could be anything, and I kind of work with you with that. I've also got an on-demand channel which I have been running for about 3 years now, and on there it's pre-recorded exercises which are updated every 2 weeks, and that is a subscription. So yeah. And
am I right in thinking, are you doing classes with Fresh as well?
Yeah.
Is that going to be live classes?
Yeah, so everything apparently opens up from May the 17th. I think we can then start working in a studio face to face. So
Okay.
yeah, I work with Fresh, and that's online, and that's on Fridays. And and I know that they'll be opening up their studios starting that week. And and also I've got to put in place coming back face to face teaching.
You will do.
Yeah, I think in terms of keeping motivation,
Okay.
I think that instructors have done a fabulous job, but not just us. I think the guys attending online classes have done an absolute wonderful job, turning up, even though you don't feel motivated. But I think for some, being face to face is something that they have really missed and needed. So yeah.
Yeah. I think the thing that comes from this is the mixture, isn't it? I think there's a lot of pros to be had with the kind of online stuff, but you do miss that. I guess it's the community stuff. I mean, you did great work. That night that I came and spoke to you, and I know you had a series of people coming to speak, was a really great way of creating a community online.
Yeah.
In the absence of being able to meet personally. I mean, because who else did you have? You had a psychologist and
yeah, I had a psychologist speak again about motivation, but talking about more kind of work, how you can separate home life and work life, and obviously working from home.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what I've really noticed is even before lockdown, my classes, I personally think that they're very community based. So people meet people in my classes. I've got a couple of girls who now go out for dinners when they can. They regularly talk to each other. They support each other. I've got multiple Facebook pages to help support, try and give, my help to those people. But yeah, I think being face to face is slightly different, isn't it? It's actually leaving a house and leaving a home, I think, is what people need to do.
Yeah. But to have the backup, if I always think the grip in that with if you've got young kids and things like that, you just can't get out, and then having that ability.
Absolutely, Claire. And in terms of work-life balance, I'd say for about 4.5 years, I barely saw my children. I didn't put them to bed at night. I was working 7 days a week. There wasn't any life balance, but I was building a business. What has happened is I've been forced into my home, but with that, I'm able to feed my children without rushing them. I'm able to put them to bed because I am working upstairs, and this is where I work. And for me, I've actually scheduled in rest days, where I'm not working.
Nice.
Because I can't work. And for me, mentally, it is, although it's been hard because it's 24 hours here, it has been really good to show that, it can be done. Working from home and working out from home, it can be done, and it has been done.
Yeah. And I think we all went through all the phases of that, didn't we? Because I know at the beginning I was kind of, well, it's going to be gone in a short space of time, so we don't need to kind of really worry. And then it just went on and on. And we all then had to kind of get into the kind of online stuff. And actually, now I think I'll probably try and stick at least with one class kind of as an online thing, because it's just a really nice addition, I think.
Yeah.
But,
Absolutely.
So kind of my last thing to you, because I kind of try and keep these chats brief, as I said, just little snippets of things that people might be interested in. But I kind of wonder, you've had some motivation talks from a couple of people. I mean, and you've lived through it. Do you have a top tip for motivating anyone who's feeling a little bit like they can't be bothered, or feeling a bit not positive about themselves, and but they kind of really want to get out there? What would you say?
I've been thinking about this all day, all morning. I was thinking, so how do I motivate, the people that come to my classes? What do I do, and how do I motivate myself? And it comes down to, you are an individual, and what motivates you isn't what motivates someone else. So it's finding the why. Why am I exercising? Why am I thinking I need to eat healthily? Why am I needing to do this? And the why could be, health reasons. It could be that, I know we're not meant to talk about it, but it might be that you just want to get into that bikini and feel good about yourself, and social media tells us we shouldn't be thinking about that, but we still do, we still do think like that. It could be all sorts of things. So it's finding the why for you individually. And that comes with dialogue and sitting down and talking to yourself. And really, I'm constantly writing out why am I doing this? Who am I doing this for? And I think having that open dialogue, and then saying, this is an individual journey for me, and for this I need to do this, this and this, and setting reasonable goals for yourself. And that's kind of it, really. And yeah, it's difficult because, like I said, and we've spoken about this, Claire, as well, you are a unique person, and what motivates you isn't what motivates me. You're very much a goal setter. For me, it's more I don't know,
the journey.
Yeah, it is where I've been to where I am now. And also what motivates me to exercise is because I motivate other people, and it's my job to motivate other people. And if I'm not motivated, or if I'm not searching for the whys, then I feel I can't help other people. So
you need to have it to give it to other people, don't you? I think that's a good lesson in that. And the finding the why is something we've often talked about, isn't it? So.
Yeah, absolutely. And it could be small things. I need to drink more water. Absolutely, that's a starting point. If you don't drink any water, or I need to eat an apple a day, or I need to walk my kids to school, that is a huge starting point. If you're not active, or if you're not positive, or whatever it is, it's small things. And then finding your community is also really, really important. Finding people that, want to exercise, but don't compare yourself to those people, because that's where motivation will lack. And that's where, you'll feel rubbish about yourself.
Yeah. And I've started to add on to that, because I've always been the find your tribe kind of person, but I also add, because I keep meeting people with kind of social anxiety, and they just aren't that kind of person. But sometimes your tribe is just one other person, and there's just something to have somebody to be accountable to, and somebody that you can run beside, or you can move beside. And
and if you are having that social anxiety, talking to people on the phone, when you're out and about, getting your phone out and saying, I'm going to schedule time to speak to my mum, my sister, whoever it is that will talk to you for a while, and then you can do a lap of the village, or walk to school, or whatever it is,
sustain you through it.
But that's the key thing. Why are you doing this? And making sure that you're doing it for you rather than for other people all the time.
Brilliant. Thank you, Emma. Thanks for coming on board.
Right.
I will see you soon, and thanks for listening, everybody. This has been Time to Talk. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Bye.